So for row 5, once we've done here, we're at the centerpiece of row 5. We will begin with a purl 2. So let's bring our placeholder over. Okay, and begin with a purl 2. Purl 1, purl 2. And again, the centerpiece, regardless of the size you're creating, we're all going to do this, the same instructions. Knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, purl 2, 1, 2, oops, 2, and then we're going to C6F, sorry. So a C6F is F as in front, so we're going to bring the stitches to the front, but it says 6. So the last one we did was a C4F, which we did 4 stitches, right? 2 and 2, 2 in the front and 2 regular. This one is C6F, so we're going to do 3 and 3, 3 regular and 3 in the front. So we're going to slide 3 onto our needle, and because it's F as in front, we're going to leave it in the front, and then we're going to knit. So we're going to knit the next 3 stitches. So the ones on this purple needle we're going to leave, we're going to work the silver needle. So the next 3 stitches. So 1, we're going to knit. Okay, 2, 3. Then we're going to work the purple needle. Okay, we're going to knit. So flip it over like that, and get ready to do a regular knitting. 1, 2, and it can be tight, so try your best. 3. Okay, there we go. C6F. Now we're going to knit 1, and then we're going to do a C6B, so knit 1. So C6B. So C6B, same thing, just we're going to put the stitches in the back. So because it's a 6, because it says 6, we're going to do again 3, 3 and 3. So 1, 2, 3 on the purple stitch, on the purple needle, and it says B as in back, so we're going to bring it back. Then we're going to work the next 3 stitches of this silver needle. We're going to knit 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to work the purple needle. Okay, we're going to knit 1, 2, 3. Okay, like that. Then we're going to purl 2, 1, 2, knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to purl 2, 1, 2. Okay, just like that. There we go. All right. And we can see it's starting to shape here. So now we're on this section here, right? The last part, we're going to move our placeholder over. And we're going to begin this. So the written pattern says our grouping will begin with a knit 1 and purl 1, right? Small, you're going to do it 20 times, the group. Medium 22, large 24, extra large 26, extra extra large 29 times. And finally at the end, if you're doing a large or an extra large, you will have 1 stitch left over, at which you will do a knit into that. But again, you don't have to follow that written pattern for this. You can just do it based on what you see. See, for example, I have 2 purl stitches here, so I know that I'm going to do a knit stitch on top of that for that 2 knit stitches on top of it, right? So we're going to do 1 knit stitch. The next one we have 2 knits, so I know I'm going to do a purl on top of that because I want 2 purls on top of that. The next are 2 purls, I'm going to do a knit. The next are 2 knits, I'm going to do a purl, right? And that's how the pattern goes. Vertically, 2 knits, 2 purls, 2 knits, 2 purls. Horizontally, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, right? as you can see, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, right? Okay, so once again, you don't have to follow the written pattern because once it's easy to understand, you can just do it based on how you see it, and that will create your pattern. Okay, so I'm going to complete this all the way to the end, where we will talk about row 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10, 11, and 12. So from row 6 to 12. Okay, I'll meet you back. Okay, so here I am at the end of row 5. We're going to flip our work over and begin row 6. Now before I talk about row 6, let's just do a quick question so you understand the pattern. What's the first, based on what you see on mine, what will the first stitch, what are you going to have to do on top of this first stitch, right? So the answer is that if we look at here, if we look at the next one over, we have two knits and a purl, right? If we look at the next one, the third stitch, we've got 2 purls and a knit, right? So horizontally, this one is a purl, the second one is a purl. Therefore, on either side of it will be a knit because we have knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl all the way across, right? That's how the pattern goes horizontally, right? So we know that this one is going to be a knit that we've completed, that we see. Although it's difficult to see, we can tell that it's a knit by doing this math. Okay. Therefore, if this first stitch is a knit, are we going to have to do, right? The question is, did we do 2 knits, or is this only the first knit of the 2 that we have to create, right? And the easy way to look at that is look at the next stitch. What do we have? We have 1 purl, right? We have below that we have 2 knits, 1 purl. Therefore, on top of this purl, we're going to have to create another purl. Therefore, on top of this knit, we're going to have to create another knit, right? And on both sides, this should match on this left side as well. If we look at it, we have 2 purls and a knit. Therefore, we know we're going to have to create a second knit, so it matches, right? So this first stitch here is a knit stitch. We only have 1. We're going to have to create another knit stitch. So when we begin our pattern, we're going to have to start with 1 knit stitch. This is for mine. Yours, depending on your size, depending on what you have, could be a purl, right? You're going to have to look at what you have and determine it from there. Okay? But aside from that, let's just discuss the next 6 to 12 rows. So I'm going to have it on the screen. The 6 to 12 rows are repetitive of what we've done so far. The 6th row will be the same pattern as the 2nd row. The 7th row will be the same pattern as the 3rd row. The 8th row will be the same pattern as the 4th row. The 9th pattern will be the same pattern as the 1st row. The 10th pattern will be the 10th row will be the same pattern as the 2nd row. The 11th row will be the same pattern as the 3rd row, and the 12th row will be the same pattern as the 4th row. So we're going to do rows 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 once. So get up to row 12 and I will meet you at the end of row 12 where we will begin row 13. So here I am at the end of row 12, and this is what my piece looks like right now. As you can see, the middle part is starting to develop. So let's begin row 13. For row 13, we're going to start our beginning like normal, okay? And then we're going to do the middle section, and then we're going to do the end like normal. So I'm going to begin the first part here and get to my middle section, and I will meet you here in the middle. Okay, so I've done my moss stitch all the way across into my center piece here, just like normal. And for the center, what we're going to do now for row 13 is we're going to begin by purl 2. 1, 2. Knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Purl 2. 1, 2, and then a C6B. So for the C6B, we're going to take our stitch holder, we're going to take 3 stitches, and we're going to put them in the back and let them rest there. Then we're going to work on the next 3 stitches on our needle. We're going to knit them. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to take the 3 stitches on our stitch holder and we're going to knit those. 1, 2, 3. Like that. Then we're going to knit 1. And then C6F. So we're going to take our stitch holder, take the first 3 stitches, put them on the stitch holder, 2, 3, and instead of keeping them at the back, we're going to keep them at the front. Then we're going to knit the next 3 stitches on our needle. One, 2, 3. Then we're going to knit then 3 stitches on our stitch holder. One, 2, 3, like that. Okay. Then we're going to purl 2. 1, 2, and then we're going to knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to purl 2. 1, 2. Okay, so that's the centerpiece for round 13. What I'm going to do is move my stitch holder over and continue working in the moss stitch all the way across till I finish row 13, just like normal. Then I will meet you at the end of row 13 and begin row 14. So here we are at the end of row 13. I've completed this row and this is what it should look like. So now for row 14, so I'm going to turn my work over and begin row 14. For row 14, it will be the same as the second row, and I'll have the pattern on the screen for that. And then once you complete row 14, you will turn your work over and begin row 15. For row 15, it will be the same as the third row in the pattern. Okay, and again, I will have that on the screen for you to follow. So once you've finished row 14 and row 15, I will meet you here to begin row 16. Okay? So here I am, I finished my 15th row, and this is what your piece will look like so far, and this is what the center would look like so far. So let's begin row 16. For row 16, I'm going to turn my work over and begin that. And then I'm going to do the front part the same, so I'm going to work in the same pattern until I get to the center here. And when I get to the center, I will meet you here. Okay, so here I am at the center part of row 16. And what we're going to do is knit 2, 1, 2, purl 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to knit 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to purl 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to knit 2, 1, 2. I'm going to purl 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to knit 2, 1, 2. Okay. And then I'm going to work in this pattern, double moss pattern, all the way across, just like normal, until we reach the end of row 16. And from there, I will meet you. Okay, so here's what my piece looks like right now. I finished row 16, so I'm going to turn it over and begin the next row. But just so you can see what the center looks like, it looks like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is rows 1 to 16 that we've done so far. So this sets the pattern. Okay, so we're going to continue working in the pattern, rows 1 to 16, until your piece measures a total of 47 centimeters. Okay, so that's going to create your piece from the bottom here, from the very beginning, including the rib stitch, all the way to the top. It's going to build it all the way up until you get to the underarm of your sweater. And from there, the next part, we're going to start to shape the armholes. Okay, so if you need to customize your sweater to the person, if you're a size small, 47 centimeters worked for me, for my torso until it reached my underarms. That gave it a good length. If the person you're making it for has a bit of a shorter torso, then you might want to measure it first, and you might have to do a few centimeters less than 47 so that it's not too long. But for me, an average size torso, I'm about 5'9" once again. 47 centimeters works well, especially once you put it in the wash. It may shrink a little bit, so it worked well. It wasn't too long. Okay, so we're going to keep working in the pattern, rows 1 to 16, until the total sweater from the bottom here to the very top measures the correct amount that you want it to be. And for me, it was 47 centimeters, and 47 centimeters is what it says in the pattern instructions as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave it off here. To continue your pattern, get to 47 centimeters or the amount that you desire, and I will meet you back here where we will begin to shape the armholes. Okay.